Good morning. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion for Friday, September 27th, 2024. I figured today would be a great day considering what we discussed yesterday with Helene making landfall as a major hurricane. Last night made landfall as a category 4 hurricane right about here. Notice it has moved rapidly to the northeast. It's already moving into the Carolinas, and it looks much different. Right now, the storm is going through a process of transferring and changing into an extratropical low pressure system. Now, what is that? What is warm core and cold core? We're going to talk about that and also look at the forecast over the next several days, as our blocking pattern sets up a interesting situation for the northern mid-Atlantic, especially over the next 24 hours, with the potential for a little bit of heavier rainfall. We've seen some heavier downpours, let's say over eastern Pennsylvania, with some of this moisture running into a cold front that is stalling out over the region. And you could see that there's clearly an upper level low here. In fact, we can see it much better in the water vapor satellite picture. There is some dry air, polar air invading much of the Gulf Coast, starting to push into Florida. There is the core of Helene that is starting to change. Still has a warm core structure though, right about here. But this is an upper level low that is absorbing the circulation at the surface and the tropical moisture of this storm. Meanwhile, we have another upper level low here that is diving into the Gulf of Maine and towards the Canadian Maritimes. And so between this upper level low and this upper level low, we have an upper level ridge here. But notice we still have plenty of moisture invading. So we have different levels of impact in the atmosphere. Okay. So when you have these different competing forces, you get a hodgepodge of weather impacts as a result. So first, I want to show the difference in the structures here when we're talking about these storms. And this is an excellent illustration by Jack Sillen, an outstanding young meteorologist. You can see his website right here, sillenweather.com. I always like to share these young meteorologists coming up who do an outstanding job with presentations and graphics. So if you're interested in seeing more of his work, definitely check it out. He's an outstanding individual in terms of weather forecasting. A pretty good guy, too. I've had some conversations with him. Now, here is our warm core structure. Now, remember what I said the past couple of days. The key in understanding and the rate of intensification for the storm will be how quickly does the storm become vertically stacked. A warm core low reaches its maximum potential when the low pressure system is vertically stacked under the upper level high pressure system. So what's happening here is that you're having your warmest temperatures at the core, which is rising rapidly, and that rising air builds up mass, which leads to higher pressure here at, let's say, 250 millibars. This higher pressure expels out the latent heat release energy and sends it out. It's kind of the exhaust. So here's your rising motion, steadily rising, 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 expelled out, right? So that process continues until the warm core low at the surface is disrupted. Now, a cold core low, when it is intensifying, it is slanted back to the northeast in the upper levels. So at the surface, you have your low pressure system. Your warmer air is focused to the east, away from the low level circulation. You have cold, dry air coming in from the west, and this process extends all the way up in the atmosphere, but back to the north, should I say northwest. So you can see this is not vertically stacked. When this low pressure structure becomes vertically stacked, that means the warm air and cold air is basically right over the low pressure system, and you don't have that rising motion. You don't have that thermal gradient aloft and at each level of the atmosphere. And so you lose the ability of intensification. So what's happening right now is this low level structure is being absorbed into this upper level structure. So let's say when we take a look at the water vapor satellite picture, here's your upper level low, here is your warm core low. And what's happening is that as this structure is interacting, as this structure is interacting with this structure, the low level circulation that you're seeing here, where you're having all your warmest temperatures at the surface of the low, is interacting with this feature here. So it's kind of a combination, a hybrid storm. But what will eventually happen, and we can see it already in the water vapor satellite picture with this cooler, drier air coming in from the southwest, what's going to happen is that that warm core structure, especially since it's over land and not able to draw up any more deep moisture and water vapor from the oceans, it is going to transfer over to this structure. And what happens is that all that deep tropical moisture, it starts to get positioned to the east of the low level circulation. So all the deep moisture and thunderstorms over the low pressure system starts to shift to the east of the low pressure system and then back to the northwest, taking on a structure that is more extratropical. So while this is all happening, we are gaining this easterly wind over our neck of the woods. Why? Because we're to the northeast of this whole process occurring. So you have higher pressure to the north of us with the cold front passing through. And as a result, the air is streaming towards the lower pressure. So you end up with this northeasterly wind, a lot of overcast cloud cover, and a few showers here. And some of those showers are producing some of those heavier downpours. Now, when you take a look at the lifting factors right now, and this is from the SPC website, again, a free website, what we have first is plenty of moisture, especially as you head to the south of the northern interior. And let's say the Poconos, Catskills, Hudson River Valley. From the New York City metro on south, we have plenty of moisture, especially in the lower levels of the atmosphere. You can feel the humidity. Again, take a look at the observations. We have we have temperatures in the mid 60s, mid to upper 60s around the New York City metro and northern interior, lower 70s around the Philadelphia metro and southern New Jersey, with dew points pretty much at those same levels. So plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, especially at the lower and mid levels. But how about moisture transport? Well, at 925 millibars, it's rather weak. And at 850 millibars, is coming in from the south and southwest. So not exactly the most impressive. Again, 925 millibars, not really all that impressive, right? So we have all this moisture, not much in the way of moisture transport. So we're kind of stuck in terms of building up any more moisture. But what about lifting? Well, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. You see, at 850 millibars, we have what's called frontogenesis. And at 925 millibars, let's see where that is right here, it's even stronger. So what is this telling me? Well, from the surface up to about 850 millibars, we have frontogenetical forcing because of a thermal gradient and moisture gradient. But we're not seeing a lot of rainfall because we have this ridge axis, which only gets stronger as you go up higher in the atmosphere. So let's go up to, let's say, 500 millibars, and you can see that above normal heights between this upper level low and this upper level low. And you can see that in the upper level winds. There's our upper level low diving into the uh, Canadian Maritimes. Here's our upper level low over the Tennessee River Valley. Here's what's left of the circulation and the structure of Helene. You can see still a little bit of a hint of divergence and diffluence right here, right? And a little bit of a anticyclonic circulation that is fading away. So this upper level low is overwhelming the upper level structure of our tropical storm and rapidly transitioning it into an extratropical system. But also, you see this ridge axis here? That limits lifting aloft. So what does that look like when you're looking at the atmosphere? Well, that sinking air is producing dry air here and dry air here. So plenty of cloud cover, not a lot of rainfall, but where it does break some of this dry air, that rainfall can be heavy at times. And so that's what we're seeing here with our radar. This is from the WeatherTap surface map and radar. And I also left some of the warnings here. Again, with that cyclonic circulation, we lost the structure of the warm core low, that donut shape, right? You're clearly seeing more of an extratropical circulation and structure to this rain shield, where the low level center, which is right about here, is starting to focus all of the heavy precipitation to the east and to the north of that circulation. Our upper level lows here. So this is all starting to take over. Because of the turning motion in the atmosphere, you still have tornado warnings showing up in portions of eastern South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. So definitely watch out for severe weather. And all of this flash flooding, this is because you have all that deep tropical moisture driving into the Appalachian Mountains. So along with all the other lifting you have involved with this storm, you have what's called orographic lifting, where moisture is being lifted up against the mountain. So this is producing intense heavy rainfall here over western North Carolina and western Virginia. And that is going to continue up through West Virginia and Kentucky and Tennessee. So just nasty conditions. Those of you around Atlanta, you're still seeing heavy rainfall, but it's all starting to lift to your north. So things will clear out by this evening if you're interested for any sports reasons. Meanwhile, our cold front. Now, what is this? Is all associated with this upper level low in the polar jet stream. This is diving south and to the east, to the southeast. Okay. This frontal boundary stalling out because it's running into this upper level low with its southwesterly flow. And so it sits here. And so you have these showers here are developing. But again, when you take a look at the surface observations, not a lot is reaching ground. It's being reported as cloudy with some drizzle. So the reason why is because we have that substance interacting with the frontogenesis and they're kind of fighting each other. So on the radar, it looks like it's raining steadily over southern New Jersey, but really it's just cloudy. So what is going to happen as we move forward? Well, this front continues to stall out over the region. This upper level low dives south. This upper level low starts to meander around the Tennessee River Valley, and we start to loosen up some of the convergence and confluence that has taken shape in the upper levels. So what does that look like on the model guidance? Well, for tonight and tomorrow, what happens is that you just get enough lifting here to enhance the frontogenesis. And that's showing up for tonight into early tomorrow morning. And you can see that very nicely here at 700 millibars, that's taking shape, and even more so at 850 millibars. So what this tells us is that for this evening on through tomorrow morning, we have an enhancement of that frontogenesis and the potential for showers. Going beyond that point, the upper level low hangs around. Unfortunately, because of the position of this upper level low and the exit of the upper level low around the Canadian Maritimes, polar jet stream kind of loses some of the influence here as this upper level low slowly creeps towards the coast as we move on through the weekend into early next week. So what this leads to is that frontal boundary standing around the region with variable cloud cover, mix of sun and clouds more as you head into the weekend out, especially late tomorrow afternoon on through Sunday, but pesky showers hanging around the region as well. Your best potential for rainfall is basically now on through tomorrow morning, and then after that, more widely scattered showers. What's left of the hurricane, the remnant moisture, not an actual tropical low or any of the winds or anything of that nature, just what's left of the upper level low and all that moisture swings through on Tuesday at the same time a polar trough is going to be marching through. And so that opens up the potential for more widespread showers to move towards the middle of the week. And while that is all happening, let's take a look at the 850 millibar temperatures here. Right here. Nope, here. There we are. And you can see here is that warm core structure right there that was being observed at 2 a.m. this morning. Notice by this afternoon, that structure is gone. And this is a purely extratropical structure. Cooler, dry air coming in from the southwest, warmer air coming in from the southeast and interacting. So this is a clear cold core circulation. This is our thermal gradient that sets up through tomorrow. There you can see the enhancement of that gradient, but then the maritime air tries to win out. And then the polar air comes in later as we move on through the week. Now, there is signs of an impossible storm trying to develop off the coast by the end of the week. This is clearly cold core. Here's a warm core low. This is a hurricane that's going to be out in the Atlantic, no threat to us. This is a clear cold core low. So if you're ever not sure of whether you're dealing with a warm core or cold core low, this is a great way of looking at it. Look at the 850 millibar temperatures, and when you see this structure, that's cold core. That's extratropical. When you have this structure, that's warm core. That is tropical. So you see the differences here, right? So it is going to be an active week. And with this tropical moisture for this evening, again, you can see the enhancement of the lifting pushing your precipitable water values over 2 inches. There's going to be potential for tonight for some heavier downpour, especially from central New Jersey on southward throughout southeastern Pennsylvania. That subsides as you move on through the morning hours tomorrow. And by the afternoon, you have some moisture. Now, why am I not forecasting widespread rainfall through the rest of the weekend, even with this moisture hanging around? Well, that is where you use 700 millibar relative humidity. And what we have, again, right now, in this situation, you don't have 90 or 100% relative humidity at 700 millibars. You have dry pockets, right? So that tells me low level moisture, drizzle, cloudy skies, but not widespread heavy rainfall. For tonight into tomorrow, there is that phonogenesis, that lifting, saturating the atmosphere, supporting that rainfall. But then look what happens after that. A lot of pockets of dry air. So this tells me variable cloud cover, some breaks of sun here and there, and the showers become more isolated in coverage. Until we get to Tuesday, or what's left of this moisture hanging around in the Tennessee River Valley gets driven out by our cold front. So with that, let's take a look at some of the expected radar. And for the next 18 hours on the HRR guidance, you can see that development of the rainfall lifting northward, setting up a bit of a wet evening on the way. The NAM is basically showing the same thing with the best potential for rainfall late tonight into tomorrow morning. But look at it fading away, decreasing. This tells me more isolated showers, drizzle, kind of a raw day tomorrow. And then Sunday, again, onshore flow continuing, cloudy skies, drizzle, isolated showers here and there. So when we dive into our forecast for today, variable cloud cover, mostly overcast, scattered showers increasing coverage towards the evening, high temperatures in the lower to mid 70s because of all the tropical moisture in the atmosphere. For tonight into tomorrow morning, periods of showers, heavier rainfall expected from central New Jersey on southward, could pick up an inch of rain in a few spots. Low temperatures in the lower to mid 60s over the northern interior, mid to upper 60s in the suburbs, upper 60s to lower 70s in the Delaware River Valley. For tomorrow afternoon, the showers start to decrease in coverage, still capable of a heavy downpour or two, but becoming more isolated. Cloudy skies are expected with that persistent easterly wind. Look for high temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior, lower to mid 70s along the coast. For Sunday, that stationary front hangs around the region. Variable cloud cover, isolated showers, some drizzle. Look for low temperatures in the lower to mid 60s, high temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s over the interior, and lower to mid 70s along the coast. On Monday, same scenario, rinse and repeat. Stationary front hanging around. Threat for variable cloud cover, a few isolated showers, a little bit of morning fog. Low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s over the northern interior, upper 50s to lower 60s along the coast. High temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior, lower to mid 70s along the coast. On Tuesday, what's left of the moisture and a weak low pressure system passes through on Tuesday with a cold front following in behind it, leading to widespread showers, possibly a few heavy downpours here and there. Look for low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s over the northern interior, upper 50s to lower 60s in your suburbs, lower to mid 60s in your urban areas, high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. On Wednesday, the cold front clears out of the region with showers throughout the day, clearing out from west to east. Look for temperatures to range from the mid to upper 50s for lows and high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 70s. On Thursday, that low pressure system lingers off the coast with the threat of variable cloud cover and a few isolated showers. Look for low temperatures in the mid 50s and high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And on Friday, for the end of next week, look for a scattered broken cloud cover with a few isolated showers, low temperatures in the mid 50s and high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful day. And as always, stay safe out there.